My husband, Mark, was the love of my life. For 15 years, we built a world together. He was a contractor, a man who built things with his hands, strong and reliable. I was a freelance graphic designer, working from our cozy home. We weren't rich, but we were happy. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our shared dreams for the future. Then, one rainy Tuesday, a heart attack stole him from me. Just like that, my word. The man who was my rock, my everything, was gone. The first few weeks were a blur of grief. Friends and family surrounded me, a comforting but temporary shield against the crushing weight of reality. The casseroles piled up, the condolences poured in, but when the house fell, silent at night, the emptiness was deafening. I was left alone to navigate a future I had never imagined. Slowly, I started the painful process of sorting through our life together, tackling the mountain of paperwork that comes with death. That's when I found the first letter. It was tucked away in his desk drawer, hidden beneath a stack of old blueprints. It wasn't a love letter, it was a loan statement. A very large loan. The amount made my breath catch in my throat. $50,000. The lender was a company I'd never heard of, a place called Starlight Investments. A cold dread washed over me. Mark had always handled our finances. He was meticulous, responsible. We never spent beyond our means. This made no sense. Why would he need so much money? And why would he hide it from me? My first instinct was denial. It had to be a mistake, some kind of junk mail. But the statements kept coming, each one a fresh stab of anxiety. I started digging. I tore through his office, searching for any clue. I found more statements, all from the same company, all addressed to Mark. The debt was real, and now it was mine. The weight of it felt like a second wave of grief, this time laced with confusion and a flicker of betrayal. I called the number on the statement. The voice on the other end was cold and impersonal. Yes, Mr. Mark Jensen had an outstanding loan. No, they couldn't provide details on what the loan was for due to privacy policies. They were very sorry for my loss, but the debt was now part of his estate, and I was responsible for it. They suggested a payment plan. The monthly amount they proposed was more than half of my income. I felt like I was drowning. How could I possibly pay this? We would lose the house, the home Mark had poured his heart and soul into building for us. For days, I was paralyzed by fear. I looked at Mark's photos, trying to find an answer in his smiling face. Who was this man who kept such a huge secret? Was our whole life a lie? The thought was unbearable. Sleep offered no escape. My dreams were filled with foreclosure, notices, and the faceless voice from the loan company. I felt so utterly alone, wrestling with a ghost and a debt that threatened to swallow me whole. One sleepless night, staring at the ceiling, I remembered Sarah, Mark's younger sister. They had been close, but she'd moved across the country years ago. We didn't talk often, but maybe, just maybe, she knew something. With trembling hands, I called her. I explained everything, my voice breaking as I laid bare the secret that was tearing me apart. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. When Sarah finally spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. "Oh, Amy," she said softly, "I think I know what this is about. It's about our mom." Sarah explained that their mother had been diagnosed with a rare, aggressive form of dementia a couple of years ago. The specialized care facility she needed was astronomically expensive, and her insurance covered almost none of it. Their mom had made Mark promise not to tell me. She didn't want to be a burden. She was a proud woman, and she adored me. She couldn't bear the thought of her illness casting a shadow over our happiness or our financial security. So my strong Mark, my Dashwas, he decided to carry the burden alone. He took out the loan to pay for his mother's care, working extra jobs on weekends, taking on side projects he never told me about. All to keep his promise and to protect me. The secrecy wasn't about a lack of trust. It was an act of profound, if misguided, love. He was trying to shield me from the pain and the financial strain, just as he always tried to fix everything. The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place. The late nights he'd claimed were for catching up on paperwork. The exhaustion I'd mistaken for simple work stress. He hadn't been pulling away from me. He had been fighting a silent battle for his family, for his mother, and for me. The weight of betrayal lifted, replaced by a wave of overwhelming love and a deep, aching sadness for the burden he had carried alone. He wasn't a stranger with a secret life. He was the same man I had always loved, just trying to be everyone's hero. The next day, I called Sarah back. Together, we called the care facility. They confirmed everything. They spoke of Mark with such warmth, telling me how he visited his mom every week. Even when she no longer recognized him, how he always made sure she had the best of everything. They sent me photos of him there, holding his mother's hand, a gentle smile on his face. Seeing those pictures, I finally understood. The $50,000 debt wasn't a betrayal. It was a monument to my husband's love and selflessness. Armed with the truth, I felt a new sense of strength. The fear was still there, but it was no longer paralyzing. This debt wasn't a shameful secret. It was Mark's final act of devotion. I wasn't going to let it break me. I wasn't going to lose our home. I reached out to a nonprofit financial counseling service. A kind woman named Maria walked me through my options. We created a budget that was tight but manageable. She helped me negotiate with the loan company, explaining the situation. With the documentation from the care facility, they agreed to a much more reasonable payment plan. I also took a leap of faith. I started a blog, sharing my story. I wrote about grief, about love, about the secrets we keep to protect the ones we love. I wrote about Mark. To my surprise, people responded. My story resonated. A small community formed, offering support and sharing their own experiences. Some even donated to a fund I set up, not because I asked, but because they were moved by Mark's sacrifice. It's been a year now. The debt is still there, but it's shrinking. I'm still in our house, the one filled with memories. It's not a house of secrets anymore. It's a home built on a foundation of love, so deep it transcended life itself. I miss Mark every single day, but I'm no longer haunted by his ghost. I'm inspired by his legacy. He taught me that love isn't always about shared joys. Sometimes it's about the silent burdens we are willing to carry for each other. And in discovering his secret, I didn't lose my husband. I found him all over again. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing for more.